cheer!
Aye, speak to the mourners! All to Darby, where we run ourselves aground! Be stirred! Be stirred!
Now would I give 1,000 furlongs of sea for an acre of barren ground. Wheels above be done, for I would fain die a dry death.
Come away, servant, come! I am ready now. Approach my Ariel, come!
All hail, great master, brave Miss Hail. I come to answer thy best pleasure, be it to fly, to swim, to dive into the fire, to ride on the curled clouds, to thy strong bidding task, Ariel and all her quality.
Hast thou, spirit, performed to point the tempest that I bade thee?
To every article. I board the king's ship, now in the beak, now in the wasted deck, in every cabin I flamed amazement. Sometimes I divide and burn in many places, on the topmast, the yards, and bowsprit where I flame distinctly, then meet and join.
My brave spirit, who was so firm, so constant, that this coil would not infect his reason?
Not a soul, but felt a fever of the mad and played some tricks of desperation. All but mariners plunged in the foaming brine and quit the vessel. Then all fire with me, the king's son Ferdinand, with hair upstaring, then like reeds, not hair, was the first man that leapt, cried, "Hell is empty and all the devils are here."
Why, that's my spirit. But was not this nigh shore?
Close by, my master.
But are they Ariels safe?
Not a hair perished. On their sustaining garments not a blemish, but fresher than before. And as thou badest me, in troops I have dispersed them about the isle. The king's son have I landed by himself, whom I left cooling of the air with sighs, in an odd angle of the isle, and sitting, his arms in the sad knot.
Of the king's ship, the mariners, say how thou hast disposed in all the rest of the fleet.
Safely in harbor is the king's ship, in the deep nook where once thou call'st me up at midnight to fetch dew from the still vexed Bermuths. There she's hid. The mariners all under hatches stowed, with a charm joined to their suffered labors I have left asleep. As for the rest of the fleet, which I dispersed, they have all met again and are upon the Mediterranean float, bound sadly home for Naples, supposing they saw the king's ship racked and his great person perish.
Ariel, thy charge exactly is performed. But there's more work. The time twixt 6 and now must by us both be spent most preciously.
Is there more toil? Since thou dost give me pains, let me remember thee what thou hast promised, which is not yet performed me.
How now? Moody? What is't thou canst demand?
My liberty.
Before the time be out. No more.
I prithee, remember I have done thee worthy service, told thee no lies, made no mistakings, served without grudge or grumblings. Thou did promise to bait me a full year.
Dost thou forget from what to torment I did free thee?
No.
Thou dost, and think'st much to tread the ooze of the salt deep, to run upon the sharp wind of the north, to do me business in the veins of the earth when it is baked with frost.
I do not, miss.
Thou liest, malignant thing! Hast thou forgot the foul witch Sycorax?
No, miss.
Thou hast. This blue-eyed hag was hither brought with child, and here was left by the sailors. Thou, my slave, as thou reports thyself, was then her servant. And thou wast a spirit too delicate to act her earthy and abhorred commands. She did confine thee in a most immitigable rage, into a cloven pine, within which rift imprisoned thou didst painfully remain a dozen years, within which space she died and left thither. Then was this island. Save for the son she did litter here, a freckled whelp hag born, not honored with a human shape.
Yes, Caliban, her son.
Dull thing, I say so, he that Caliban, whom now I keep in service. Thou best know'st what a torment I did free thee. Thy groans did make wolves howl. It was a torment to lay upon the damned which Sycorax could not again undo. It was mine art, when I arrived and heard thee, that made gape the pine and let thee out.
I thank thee, master.
If thou more murmurest, I will rend an oak and peg thee in his knotty entrails till thou hast held away 12 winters.
Pardon, master. I will be correspondent to command to do my spiriting gently.
Do so, and after 2 days I will discharge thee.
That's my noble master. What shall I do? Say what shall I do?
Go make thyself like a nymph of the sea. Be subject to no sight but thine and mine, invisible to every eyeball else. Hark in thine ear.
My lord, it shall be done.
My dearest mother, if by your art you have put the wild waters in this roar, allay them. The sky, it seems, would pour down stinking pitch, but that the sea mounting to the welkin's cheek dashes the fires out. Oh, I have suffered with those that I saw suffer. A brave vessel who had no doubt some noble creature in her, dashed all to pieces. Poor souls, they perished. Had I been any god of power, I would have sunk the sea within the earth or air. It should the good ship so have swallowed in the fronting souls within her.
Be collected. No more amazement. Tell your piteous heart there's no harm done.
Oh, woe the day.
No harm. I have done nothing but in care of thee. Of thee, my dear one. Thee, my daughter, who art ignorant of what thou art, not knowing of whence I am, nor that I am more better than Prospero, master of a full poor cell and thy no greater mother.
More to know to never meddle with my thoughts.
'Tis time I should inform thee farther. Lend thy hand and pluck my magic garment from me. So lie there, my art. Yes. Wipe thou thine eyes. Have comfort. The direful spectacle of the rack, which touched the very virtue of compassion in thee, have I such provision in mine art so safely ordered, that no soul, no not so much perdition as an hair betide to any creature in the vessel which thou heardst cry, which thou sawest sink. Sit down, for thou must know farther.
You have often begun to tell me of what I am, but stopped, concluding, stay, not yet.
The hour's now come. The very minute bids thee ope thine ear. Obey, and be attentive. Canst thou remember a time before we came unto this cell? I do not think thou canst, for then thou wast not out 3 years old.
'Tis far off and more like a dream than an assurance that my remembrance warrants. Had I not 4 or 5 women once that tended me?
Thou hadst, and more, Miranda, but how is it this lives in thy mind? What seest thou else in the dark backward and abysm of time? If thou rememberest aught ere thou camest here, how thou camest here thou mayst.
But that I do not.
12 years since, Miranda. 12 years since thy mother was the Duke of Milan and a prince of power.
But, miss, are not you my mother?
Thy father was a piece of virtue, and he said thou wast my daughter. Thy mother was the Duke of Milan, and her only heir a princess, no worse issued.
But what foul play had we that we came from thence, or blessed was it we did?
Both, my girl. By foul play were we heaved thence, but blessedly holp hither.
Please you farther?
My brother and thy uncle called Antonio, I pray thee, mark me, that a brother should be so perfidious, he whom next thyself in all the world I loved. To him I put the manage of my state, and into such things grew strange, being racked in secret studies. My false brother, being thus lorded, did believe that he was indeed the duke. Me, poor woman. My library was dukedom large enough of temporal royalties. He thinks me now incapable. Considerates with King of Naples to give him annual tribute. Do him homage and bend the dukedom, as then unbowed to most ignoble stooping. Dost thou hear?
Your tale, miss, would cure deafness.
This King of Naples, being an enemy inveterate, hearkens my brother's suit, which was that presently he should extirpate me and mine out of the dukedom. Whereon, one midnight, did Antonio open the gates of Milan, and in the dead of darkness, a treacherous army levied for the purpose, hurried thence me and thy crying self.
Wherefore did they not that hour destroy us?
Well demanded, wench. My tale provokes that question. ere they durst not. So dear the love my people bore me. They hurried us aboard a bark, bore us some leagues to sea, where they prepared a rotten carcass of a boat, not rigged nor tackle, sail nor mast. The very rats instinctively have quit it. There they hoist us, to cry to the sea that roared to us, and to sigh to the winds whose pity sighing back again did us but loving wrong.
Alack, what trouble was I then to you?
Oh, a cherubin thou wast that didst preserve me. Thou didst smile, infused with a fortitude from heaven, which raised up me an undergoing stomach to bear up against what should ensue.
How came we ashore?
By providence divine. Some food we had and some fresh water, that a noble Neapolitan, Gonzalo, out of his charity did give us.
Would I might but ever see that man.
Of his gentleness. Knowing I loved my books, he furnished me from mine own library with volumes I prize above my dukedom. Here in this island we arrived, and here have I, thy schoolmaster, made thee more profits than other princesses can, that have time for more vainer hours and tutors not so careful.
Heavens, thank you for it, and now I pray you, for still 'tis beating in my mind. Your reason for raising this sea storm?
No, thus far forth. By accident most strange, bountiful fortune, now my dear lady hath mine enemies brought to this shore. And by my prescience I find my zenith doth depend upon a most auspicious star, whose influence, if now I court not but omit, my fortunes will ever after droop. Here, cease more questions. We'll visit Caliban, my slave, who never yields us kind answer.
'Tis a villain, miss, I do not love to look on.
But as 'tis, we cannot miss him. He does make our fire, fetch in our wood, and serves in offices that profit us. What ho, slave Caliban? Thou earth! Thou speak!
There's not enough within!
Come forth, there's other business for thee! Come, thou tortoise, when? Thou poisonous slave, got by the devil himself upon thy wicked dam! Come forth!
As wicked too as ere my mother brushed with raven's feather from an wholesome fan drop on you both. The southwest winds blow on you and blister you all o'er.
For this be sure, tonight thou shalt have cramps, side stitches that pen thy breath up. Urchins shall forth at vast of night, that they may work all exercise on thee. Thou shalt be pinched as thick as honeycomb, each pinch more stinging than bees that made 'em.
I must eat my dinner. This island's mine by Sycorax, my mother, which thou takest from me. When thou camest first, thou strokest me and made much of me. Wouldst give me water with berries in it, and teach me how to name the bigger light, and how the less that burn by day and night. And then I loved thee, and showed thee all the qualities of the isle. The fresh springs, brine pits, barren place and fertile. Cursed be that I did so! All the charms of Sycorax, toads, beetles, bats light on you, for I am all the subjects that you have, which first was mine own king. And here you stye me in this hard rock, whilst you do keep from me the rest of the island.
Thou most lying slave, whom stripes may move, not kindness. I have used thee, filth as thou art, with humane care, and lodged thee in mine own cell, till thou didst seek to violate the honor of my child.
Would it had been done, thou didst prevent me. I'd peopled else this isle with Calibans.
Abhorrent slave, which any print of goodness wilt not take, being capable of all ill. I pitied thee, took pains to make thee speak, taught thee each hour one thing or other, when thou didst not, savage, know thine own meaning, but wouldst gabble like a thing most brutish. I endowed thy purposes with words to make them known.
You taught me language, and my profit on't is I know how to curse. The red plague rid you for learning me your language.
Have seat hence! Fetch us in more fuel and be quick. Thou art best if thou neglect'st or dost unwillingly what I command. I'll rack thee with old cramps, fill all thy bones with aches, make thee roar that we shall tremble at thy din.
No, pray thee.
So, slave hence.
For aught is of such power, I must away.
unto these yellow sands, and then take hands. Curtsied when you have, and kissed the wild waves' whist. Foot it featly here and there, and sweet sprites the burden bear. Hark, hark, the watchdogs bark. Hark, hark, I hear the stranger's strutting chanticleer. Cry cock-a-diddle dow, cock-a-diddle, cock-a-diddle, cock-a-diddle dow.
The sounds no more. Sitting on a bank weeping again, the king my father rat. This music crept by me upon the waters, allaying both their fury and my passion. With its sweet air, thence I have followed it. Or it hath drawn me rather, but 'tis gone. No, it begins again. This is no mortal business.
The fringed curtains of thine eye advanced, and say what thou seest yond.
What is it, miss? A spirit? Lord, how it looks about, but believe me, miss, a spirit?
No, wench. It eats and sleeps and hath such senses as we have. This gallant who thou now seest was in the rack. He hath lost his fellows and strays about to find them. Thou mightst call him a goodly person.
I might call him a thing divine, for nothing natural I ever saw so noble.
It goes on, I see, as my soul prompts it. Spirit, fine spirit, I'll free thee within 2 days for this.
Most sure the goddess on whom these airs attend, vouchsafe my prayer. May know if you remain upon this island, and that with some good instruction you will give how I may bear me here. My prime request, which I do last pronounce, is, oh, ye wonder if you be maid or no.
No wonder, sir, but certainly a maid.
My language, heavens, I am the best of them that speak this speech, were I but were to spoken.
How the best? What wert thou if the king of Naples heard thee?
A single thing is I am now that wonders to hear thee speak of Naples. Myself am Naples, who with mine eyes never since at ebb beheld the king my father racked.
Alack for mercy.
Yes, faith in all his lords.
At the first sight they have changed eyes, yet this swift business I must uneasy make, lest too light winning make the prize light. Good sir, a word. I fear you have done yourself some wrong. A word.
Why speakest my mother so ungently? This is the second man that e'er I saw, the first that e'er I sighed for. Pity my mother to be inclined my way.
If a virgin in your affection not gone forth, I'll make thee the queen of Naples.
I charge that thou attend me. Thou dost here usurp the name thou owest not, and hast set thyself upon this island as a spy, to win it, for me the Lord on't.
No, as I am a man.
There's nothing ill can dwell in such a temple. If the ill spirit have so fair a house, good things will strive to dwell with it.
Follow me. Speak not you for him, he's a traitor. Come, I'll manacle thy neck and feet together.
No, I will resist such entertainment till mine enemy has more power.
Oh, dear mother, make not too rash a trial of him. He's gentle and not fearful.
What I say, my foot, my tutor? Put thy sword up, traitor, who makes to show, but darest not strike. Thy I can here disarm thee with this stick, and make thy weapon drop. And make thy weapon drop.
Beseech you, mother.
Hence, hang not on my garments.
Miss, have pity. I'll be his surety.
Silence! One word more shall make me chide thee, if not hate thee. What? An advocate for an impostor? Thou thinkst there are no more such shapes as he, having seen but him and Caliban. Foolish wench. To the most of men this is a Caliban, and they to him are angels.
My affections are then most humble. I have no ambition to see a goodlier man.
Come on, obey.
Have comfort. My mother's of a better nature than she appears by speech. This is unwanted which now came from her.
Come, follow. Speak not for him. It works. Thou hast done well, fine Ariel. Thou shalt be free as mountain winds.
Oh, the infections that the sun sucks up from bogs, fens, flats, and Prosper fall and make her biennial a disease. The spirits hear me, and yet I needs must curse. But they'll not pinch, Fright me with urchin shows, pitch me the mire, nor lead me like a firebrand in the dark out of my way, and the sheep in them. But for every trifle are they set upon me. Sometimes like apes that mow and chatter at me, and after bite me. Then like hedgehogs that lie tumbling in my barefoot way and mount their bricks at my footfall. Sometime am I all wound with adders, with cloven tongues to hiss me into madness. Lo now, lo! Here comes a spirit of hers, and to torment me for bringing my wood in slowly. I'll fall flat, perchance you'll not mind me.
Another storm brewing. I hear it sing in the wind. Yon same cloud, yon huge one, looks like a foul bombard that would shed its liquor. If it should thunder as it did before, I know not where to hide my head. Oh, yon same cloud cannot choose but fall by pailfuls. Look, what have we here? A man or a fish? Dead or alive? A fish! A very ancient and fish-like smell. A strange fish. Legs like a man, and his fins like arms. Warm on my trough! I do now let loose my pinion, hold it no longer. This is no fish, but an islander that hath lately suffered by a thunderbolt. Again. My best choice to retreat under is Aberdeen. I see no other shelter hereabout. Misery acquaints a man with strange bedfellows.
The master, the swabber, the boatswain and I, the gunner and his mates, the Moll, Meg, and Marion, Marjorie, but none of us cared for Kate, for she had a tongue with the tang would cry to a sailor, "Go hang!" She loved not to save a tarn or a pitch, yet a tailor might scratch her where she did itch. Then to sea boys and let her go hang! Then to sea boys and let her go. This is a scurvy tune, but here's my comfort.
No!
Have we devils here? I have not escaped a drowning to be afeard of your 4 legs. This is some monster of the isle with 4 legs who hath got his eye taken in ague.
The spirit torments me.
Where the devil should he learn our language? I will give us some relief if it be but for that. If I can recover him and keep him tame and get to Naples with him, he's a present for any emperor.
Do not torment me, prithee. I'll bring my wood home faster.
He's in his fit now and does not talk after the wisest. He shall taste of my bottle. If he have never drunk wine afore, it will go near to remove his fit. Now open your mouth. Here's the token that will give language to you, cat. You cannot tell who's your friend. Open your chaps again.
I should know that voice. It should be, but he is drowned, and these are devils. Oh, defend me!
4 legs and 2 voices? A most delicate monster. Come, come. Amen. I'll pour some in either mouth.
Stefano!
Ah! Dost thou other mouth call me? This is a devil, and no monster.
Stefano, if thou be a Stefano, touch me and speak to me, for I am Trinculo. Be not afeard. Thy good friend, Trinculo.
If thou beest Trinculo, come forth. I'll pull thee by the lesser legs. If any be Trinculo's legs, these are they. Thou art very Trinculo indeed.
But art thou not drowned, Stefano? And art thou living, Stefano? Oh, Stefano, two Neapolitans escaped!
Prithee, do not turn me about. My stomach's not constant.
These be fine things, and if they be not sprites, That's a brave God in their celestial liquor. I will kneel to him.
How didst thou escape? How camest thou hither? Swear by this bottle, how camest thou hither?
I'll swear upon that bottle to be thy true subject, for the liquor is not earthly.
Here, I escaped upon a bottle sack that the sailors heaved overboard. Well then, how thou escapest?
Swum ashore, man, like a duck. I can swim like a duck, I'll be sworn.
Here, kiss the book. Though thou canst swim like a duck, thou art made like a goose.
Oh, Stefano, hast any more of this?
The whole book, man. My cellar's in a rock by the seaside, where my wine is hid. How now, mooncalf? How dost thine ague?
Hast thou not dropped from heaven?
Out of the moon I do assure thee, I was the man in the moon when time was.
I have seen thee in her. I do adore thee.
Come, swear to that. Kiss the book. I will furnish it anon with new contents. Swear.
By this good light, this is but a shallow monster. I have fear of him, a very weak monster. The man in the moon, a most poor, credulous monster. Well drawn, monster, in good sooth.
I'll show thee every fertile inch of the island, and I'll kiss thy foot. I'll swear myself thy subject.
Well, come on then. Down and swear.
I shall laugh myself to death at this puppy-headed monster. I could find it in my heart to beat him. The poor monster's in drink. An abominable monster.
A plague upon the tyrant that I serve. I'll bear her no more sticks, but follow thee, thou wondrous man. I prithee, let me bring thee where crabs grow, and I with my long nails will dig thee pig nuts, show thee a jay's nest, and instruct thee how to snare the nimble marmoset. I'll bring thee clustering filbert, and sometimes I'll get the young scamels from the rock. Wilt thou go with me?
Trincolo, the king and all our company else being drowned, we won't hear it here. Here, brave monster, bear my bottle. Lead away!
Farewell, master! Farewell, farewell!
A howling monster. A drunken monster.
No, more damsel, make for fish no fetch and firing, yet requiring no square trenchery nor wash dares.
Lead away!
Ban, ban, to Caliban,
Ban, ban, Caliban, has a new master, got a new man. Ban, ban, Caliban.
Beseech you, sir, be merry. You have cause, so have we all of joy. For our escape is much beyond our loss.
Prithee, peace.
Though this island seemed to be a desert, uninhabitable and almost inaccessible, yet the air that is here breathes upon us most sweetly. Here is everything advantageous to life.
True, save means to live.
How lush and lusty the sky looks. Oh, how green. Yet our garments, being as they were, drenched in the sea, now as fresh as the first day we put them on. Is not, sir, my doublet as fresh as the first day I wore it? I mean, in a sort.
You cram these words into mine ears against the stomach of my sense. My son is lost, who I ne'er again shall see him. O thou mine heir of Naples and of Milan, what strange fish hath made his meal on thee?
We have lost your son, I fear, forever. Milan and Naples have more widows in them of this business making than we bring men to comfort them.
My lady Sebastian, the truth you speak doth lack some gentleness and time to speak it in. You rub the sore when you should bring the plaster. It is foul weather in us all, good sir, when you are cloudy.
Foul weather?
Very foul.
Had I plantation of this isle, my lord, and were the king on't, what would I do? In the commonwealth, I would by contraries execute all things. For no kind of traffic would I admit, no name of magistrate, letters should not be known, riches, poverty, and use of service, none. No use of metal, corn, wine, or oil, no occupation, all men idle, all, and women too, but innocent and pure, no sovereignty.
Yet he would be king on it.
All things in common nature should produce without sweat or endeavor treason, felony, and treason, felony, sword, pike, knife, gun, or use of any engine would I not have.